Tonight,
It's going to be very exciting.
Jim Carrey.
Oh, righty then.
His Hollywood evolution told through interviews spanning 4 decades.
I did my first impression when I was 8 years old. My mother used to get so angry.
From his start in stand-up
My name is Jim Carrey. I'm a singing comic impressionist.
to scene stealing on In Living Color to bona fide box office star.
I like it a lot.
This tooth was actually like this for about 6 years.
E.T. takes you behind the scenes of his biggest roles.
I'm still alive!
This is being mic'd. Look.
E.T. Vault Unlocked. Jim Carrey
Somebody stop me!
starts right now.
Did I look embarrassed enough about that?
Welcome to Entertainment Tonight. You know, no show has followed Jim's Hollywood journey like E.T. has, as we celebrate his meteoric rise to becoming the ultimate comedy chameleon.
You know, the funny thing is, something happens when they say action.
Focus! Brilliant!
I seem to be graced with characters that keep reintroducing themselves to new generations of people.
I can't lie!
Jim Carrey is comedy's $2.5 billion man,
Oh, righty then.
starring in over 40 movies in the last 5 decades.
Good morning!
That over-the-top energy, Jim also brings it to the red carpet.
Bogus!
And in 2008, when he arrived to the Yes Man premiere inside a giant hamster ball, one thing was obvious.
If anybody knows how to make an entrance at his own premiere, it's Jim Carrey.
Yep, Jim's all in.
It was really intense.
And nothing says commitment like Carrey's transformation into the Dr. Seuss-inspired Grinch.
I just said, you know what? I want to be the book. You know, I want to be the guy. I want to be the Grinch.
So, how long were you in makeup?
It was about 3.5 hours of makeup, and, you know, another half for the suit.
Jim spent 92 days in costume and makeup for How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
It's yak hair
It's
or
yak
what?
hair. It's everything uncomfortable you could possibly imagine. 2 weeks of absolute discomfort and kind of freaking out about it, to learning a little bit of like technique of how to like pinch my leg so that I'm thinking about the little pinch instead of the discomfort.
From Tokyo to the UK, E.T. traveled the globe for the Grinch premieres. In London, Jim learned the protocol for meeting the Queen.
Well, you know, you get a little sheet of paper and it basically says, Jim, don't act on instinct.
Those instincts came in handy for his latest role.
If I can't rule the world, I might as well save it.
He's back on the big screen as Dr. Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. E.T. exclusively behind the scenes for his dramatic hedgehog haircut.
You're gonna have to get some spots for me here, buddy.
I got you.
The first time E.T. met the man with the rubber face, the year was 1983.
I did my first impression when I was 8 years old. My mother used to get so angry.
Get to your room.
She'd get so mad because I'd sit in there for hours and just have a great time.
At the time, the then 21-year-old just moved to Hollywood from his hometown of Toronto, and his stand-up routine was leaving quite the impression.
I do about 115 or 20 characters now. Like a Vermont man. Sinatra was, I think, the toughest one I've ever had to do. He took me about 2.5 years to get.
Give me a little Sinatra.
A little Sinatra, okay. When somebody loves you, it's no good unless they love you. Something like that.
That same year, Jim landed his first leading role in the short-lived sitcom, The Duck Factory.
We are pleased to announce that the Dippy Duck Show has been nominated in 3 categories. That's terrific.
I have this incredible thing called fear that that creeps in when I see myself on the screen. I just go crazy. I go crazy. I go, I don't look like that. Look at my neck. Look how long it is. And it is a long neck. I admit that. but I have an Alan Alda neck.
I'm telling you, Frank, war is hell, and besides that, it's cramping my style.
The show was canceled after just 1 season, and Jim went on to be the opening act for the late comedian Rodney Dangerfield.
I had to say I discovered him. He was around before I met him, you know. But I was lucky to run into him, and we worked together, and he was always so wild and different and unique.
If someone said you're going to be a superstar, what would that mean to you?
Gee, I don't know. I have to wait and see. I don't know how I'll react. You know, who knows until it happens. I hope I'll be cool about it.
But it wasn't until the debut of the hit 90s sketch comedy series In Living Color that Jim Carrey became a household name.
There's Fire Marshal Bill, who's a little overzealous about his work and goes around burning people's houses down.
Let me see your profile.
Why?
Can you breathe through that?
Is this part of me?
She doesn't just
Through what? I'm really going to be self-conscious now when I go on camera.
Eskimo kiss?
Okay.
How'd you get involved in the show?
Well, I was doing stand-up in the clubs, and I knew Damon Wayans, and I knew Keenan from there. I didn't really want to do television that much, but you know, it was going to be something different, and so I went through the whole audition process and everything. Did it, you know, improvised with thousands of people lined up in a hallway. It was bizarre.
In terms of where you want to take it next?
I'm hoping to get into film.
Like a glove.
Yeah, while still on the sketch show, Jim was laying the foundation for what would be his biggest year yet, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask,
Okay.
and his first starring feature, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, all hit theaters in 1994.
This year marks a 30-year anniversary. Do you realize you gave us all 3 of those iconic movies in 1 year?
And then I got off the drugs, and look what happened.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance.
Hey, what's with the hairdo in this thing here?
It's called the Carrey cockatoo. And basically, I wanted Ace to be like a smart bird.
We have some scenes in this movie where I'm, you know, surrounded by 50 animals. Like all over the place, it's insanity.
Action.
30 years ago, E.T. was on set with Jim and his leading lady, Courtney Cox.
Gentlemen, the owner of the castle.
Hello.
Love interest.
What's it like working with Jim Carrey?
Hell. Excuse me. We just gotta pluck the hair. Hair's thinking.
He cracks me up all day, really does. He's hysterical.
He's very sexy. Very, very sexy. There's really no other way to describe him. Brilliant, sexy, hot-tempered, kind of, you know, likes to kick ass, frankly.
And chemistry between Jim and Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber.
How would you describe this movie?
Romance?
Romantic comedy between two fellas that really don't know they're in one.
Just like real life. We're very attracted to each other.
I had a little bit of a fight, you know, with the marketing people when I said Jeff, because he's, you know, a little bit older, and they were so happy when he started working.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew, I mean, he's a great actor.
We play off each other real well.
I love you, man.
E.T. was on set in Colorado, where the dynamic duo filmed scenes at a swanky hotel.
They've got me in the Stephen King suite, where he apparently wrote The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Nice place. Can't wait to get the hell out.
Last night, I just covered myself in garlic and went to bed.
I like it a lot.
It's a real deal there, right?
Yeah, that's the real chip tooth. I had a bonding on there. This tooth was actually like this for about 6 years when I was a kid, and I loved it. It was my trademark.
Another set secret, after the movie, Jim was dubbed the $7 million man. His reported salary was the highest ever for a comedic actor at the time. Jeff's deal, only 50 grand.
I don't know who's dumb and who's dumber, but Jim's richer.
But Jim's biggest box office success of the decade?
Somebody stop me.
His more than $350 million movie, The Mask, with a 21-year-old Cameron Diaz in her film debut.
What do you see, Mr. Ipkiss?
He's okay, this guy, Carrey. He doesn't do too bad. Kiss! He keeps us all sane.
We get along really well.
We really do. You know, we're like brother and sister now. He's from another planet.
By '97, Jim had 7 hit films. He told us he manifested his meteoric rise to Hollywood's A-list.
$10 million, I wrote myself a check. I just visualized it, and it was in my pocket for about like somewhere between 5 and 6 years.
I sat up on Mulholland Drive dreaming up my life as it was going to be. And I'm the proof that manifestation, you know, is real.
Have you splurged?
Not real. I mean, I'm in a new house.
Actually, in the Newsweek article, it says that you're a neighbor of OJ's.
Yeah. I'm, you know, that's what I tell the pizza man. Turn right at the bloody glove.
So I flunked out of school, so what?
Fans first saw Jim Carrey's serious side as a leading man in the TV movie Doing Time on Maple Drive. Co-starring Lori Loughlin, E.T. was on set in 1991.
That's what comedy is. It's basically a shield against real feelings. The shield is off temporarily, yeah. Good morning!
In 1999, he laid it all on the line for The Truman Show.
The scene you actually see of me, bobbing up and down at the back of the boat in the water in The Truman Show, I'm actually drowning. You'll just see that I'm like trying to signal the divers, like I'm dying.
The performance earned him his first Golden Globe. 4 years later, another nomination for his collab with Kate Winslet, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
But we're always laughing and having a good time.
She whacked me the other day in one of the scenes, and it was all I could do, man.
Take care of them.
But the dramatic role that may have impacted Jim the most, Man on the Moon. He went totally method to play the late eccentric comedian Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, I was occasionally myself on a weekend, when I had to be a dad, but other than that, you call my house, you get Andy.
Ron Howard got a call on the script notes for The Grinch from Andy, because I wasn't available. It was so freeing and so liberating that, I don't know, I'll never feel it again.
I've been obsessed and crazed in love, but always it comes down to the same thing. It's like they're there to teach you how to love yourself.
Throughout all the chapters of his high-profile love life, you gotta love how Jim Carrey wears his heart on his sleeve. A 21-year-old Jim was actually living with his parents when he dated Linda Ronstadt, who was 15 years his senior. They called it quits after about 8 months.
It may have seemed like some, boy toy kind of situation, but she treated me with incredible respect.
Is there anything that you've ever said yes to that you regret saying yes to?
You're talking to a guy who's been married twice, so, no, I'm kidding.
Jim met his first wife, Melissa, at the Comedy Store. His second, Dumb and Dumber co-star, Lauren Holly. E.T. was there as sparks flew on set.
Wait till you get a load of me, baby.
I love the haircut. I love the tooth. That's when this little crush I have.
She's been dying for me to go back that way.
Yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
By August of 1996, Jim popped the question, and he told us he picked the ring himself.
It's so big, her back is out.
They married a month later, but divorced after less than a year.
Thus, the Hollywood cliche.
As for who Jim called the great love of his life, that would be his Me, Myself, and Irene co-star, Renee Zellweger.
Everybody wants to know, when did the sparks start to fly, like, for real?
Pumpkin carving. I just, had some people over to carve some pumpkins, and, well, I'm not going into it.
No one carved pumpkins.
You didn't get that far.
No.
Though they got engaged, they never made it down the aisle. And marriage with this flame, Jenny McCarthy, was never in the cards.
We don't need somebody with a piece of paper. We're both on the same spiritual journey.
They dated for 5 years and gave us some iconic moments, like this Malibu Beach swimsuit swap. He also got close to her son, Evan.
I've been reading The Grinch to him for a long time, and he wasn't aware that I was actually the Grinch reading The Grinch to him. My daughter Jane, Jenny, and Evan are the greatest things that ever happened to me. And learning how to love them has made me a man.
Yep, believe it or not, the comedy icon is a dad and a grandpa. His 37-year-old daughter, Jane, whom he shares with his first wife, is a mom of 3 and a musician.
I'm a huge ham. I always like to be on stage.
In 2012, she tried out for American Idol, and her band is credited for 2 songs on the Dumb and Dumber 2 soundtrack.
That is awesome!
Growing up, Jane would often visit her old man at work.
She was 2 feet tall. She came to the set of In Living Color when I was in a dress, and I'd be in a dress, and she'd just go, "Dad's just being silly, huh, Mom?"
That silliness was on full display in Liar Liar, the first film Jim ever played a dad on screen.
I'm Max's bad father, or I'm his father.
Yay!
E.T. was with the star in 1997, where we put him to the test.
What's the biggest lie you ever told another celebrity?
Love the movie. We're going all the way with this one.
Okay, we have a probability of deception at 99%.
Nothing can stop the fly!
the claw? Have you done that
comes
with your
from my
daughter?
father. He lives on in a lot of my work.
Something else fans may not know is Jim's childhood wasn't easy.
You know, my father lost his job when he was 51, so we lived in a van for about a year.
And I've been through times where I was like basically month to month. I didn't know where the rent was coming from or whatever, and I didn't work for 2 years at one point.
He was rejected by SNL, a show he's now hosted 3 times, and he credits Clint Eastwood for being one of the first to give him a shot.
For the Deadpool with Clint Eastwood, you should have seen the audition, because they don't audition you in front of Clint, you know, because Clint's, you know, in a dark room somewhere going. So I did the most ludicrous audition you could ever imagine. It had nothing to do. Well, it was a lot of contortions and a lot of like me and the camera going, get off my land.
The director with talent would have the guts to shoot something original.
The first day I showed up on the set, I said to him, you know, I have a bunch of ideas that I want to do, and he just looked at me with that squinty look on his face and said, well, let's just turn the camera on and let him go, you know? And I just kind of wet myself.
You're telling me there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Jim Carrey adding even more dramatic flair to some of his most iconic movie lines on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Somebody stop me!
Somebody stop me! Well, alrighty then. We leave you now with some more Jimisms from the ET Vault. Take care, y'all. I'll get better.
Is there anything you won't do for a laugh?
That's none of your damn business.
Anybody's a genius who really loves what they do and like puts their all into it. If you have a focus in your life, you can't be stopped.
If you could go back and tell your younger self a piece of advice, what would that be?
You did great. You did good.